What is the most used object class in SCP? This is an easy question with an easy solution. So a lot of SCPs will have the object class that they are as a tag. And then if you click on the tag, you can find a page of all other pages with that same tag with the number of pages with that tag. It's not a perfect process, but it's pretty good. The order will be probably right. It's a good way to find out which object class is the most used. Which one is it? It's Euclid. I guess it makes sense because safe, I guess if it's, I don't know, not many people want to write an easily contained SCP. I'm surprised it's not Keter just because of the whole meme in SCP about uncontainable SCPs or very hard to contain SCPs. But out of every object class, yes, it's Keter. Here's a ranking just to see how many times the more like normal SCP classes are used. As you can see, the more like normal ones are used like hundreds of times, and then as you go down the list, yeah, you get below triple digits with some of them. However, like I said, not surprised top 3 are Euclid, Safe, and Keter. Here's also a ranking of esoteric object classes in case you're wondering. Originally, this is where I was gonna just leave the idea. However, then I got the idea of, like, everyone knows what the most used object classes mean and what they are. However, the esoteric ones, I'm sure a lot of people don't know what a lot of them mean. So I just thought, hey, I'm just going to explain them. I should probably start with the locked box test. If you're an SCP fan, you'll definitely be aware of what the locked box test is. It's like one of the most introductory things to the SCP Foundation people will be exposed to. Before I explain what the lockbox test is, something that's important to mention is the job of the SCP Foundation. The job of the SCP Foundation is to contain entities or anomalous, like unexplainable things, right? It is not to like destroy them. This might sound pretty subtle, but in the SCP like universe, the lore, there are other groups and organizations whose goals are to destroy anomalous objects. But the SCP Foundation specifically researches and tries to find these anomalies and capture and then try to understand them. That's the whole secure, contain, protect. You try to secure the anomalies, you contain them, and you just protect whether it's like the population or reality from the anomaly or the anomaly from like outside forces. So with that underway, I'll explain the locked box test. Again, if you're into SCP, you probably know that, but in case you don't know it or you're not that into SCP, I'll just explain it. So suppose you have an anomaly that if you can lock it in a box, leave it alone, and nothing bad will happen, then it's probably safe. Let's say you had like a drawing of a cat, and if you look at it, you turn into a cat. Although you could go, oh, the drawing's dangerous, since it's really easy to contain, remember that's the important thing for the SCP Foundation, it's safe. We don't care about the danger of an SCP. Imagine you're the Foundation, you can throw as many people into it or as many resources into it. It doesn't really matter how dangerous it is. We just want to know how hard it is to contain the anomaly. So if you can lock it in a box and nothing will happen, then it's probably safe. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and you're not entirely sure what will happen, like maybe it remains in the box, or maybe it does escape, then it's probably Euclid. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and it very easily escapes, then it is probably Keter. These are the 3 most used object classes. However, there are also like common but less used object classes. If the anomaly is the box itself, then it's probably Formule. If it used to need a box but no longer does, then it is probably neutralized. If this is because of a deliberate decision by the Foundation, it was probably decommissioned. If it turns out it never needed a box in the first place, like it's just a normal cat, then it's probably explained. If you can't fit it in a box and it's about to end the world, then it's probably Apollyon. If you are not sure what box to put it in yet, it's probably pending. If you could have locked it in a box but chose not to, then it's probably Argon. If you can't fit it in a box, but that's not a big deal, then it's probably Ticonderoga. That's the more commonly used object classes. However, I also wanted to explain the esoteric object classes. There's a lot of them. However, I only chose to do the ones that were used 5 times or more as just like a standard cutoff. There's still a fair amount of them. However, I'll try to come up with a locked box analogy for all of them. Firstly, uncontained. If the anomaly isn't locked in a box, then it's probably uncontained. If it's too weird of a situation to put it in a box, then it's not applicable. If it needs to be put in a box now, so it's nearly Apollyon, then it's Tiamat. In order to lock it in a box, it is more trouble than it's worth or poses ethical issues, then it's probably Cernanos. Okay. Something that can't be explained. It's anomalous, opposed to like everything else in the SCP Foundation. If it isn't anomalous, but related to the anomalous, then it's E-part. If it's part of the Foundation's command structure, so like a part of the Foundation, then it's Radix/Yesod. If it locks something else in a box, which in turn locks it in a box, so like an Ouroboros, then it's Hymal. If someone else has locked it in a box, so a different group or organization, then it's Argos. If you can't lock it in a box and must cover up the fact that you can't, then it's Dice Elohim or Conscientia. If non-anomalous science can't explain it, but anomalous science can, then it's Godel. If you are no longer locking it in a box, then it's Kusum. If it's part of the Foundation and given Foundation task, then it's integrated. If it's its own box, then it's Mimet. If it doesn't have an object class, then it's none. If it can't be contained because it is part of reality, then it's Enochian. If it has no anomalous features but will still remain locked in a box, then it's Nagi. If it doesn't need a box but anomalous phenomena originated from it, then it's Droiga. If it's under investigation by the Overseer Council for Authenticity, then it's Drygioni. If it can't be locked in a box for logistical/ethical reasons, but helps the Foundation to lock up other anomalies, then it's Florgalano. If it puts the inner structure of the Foundation in danger, or makes it harder for the Foundation to achieve its secondary objectives, then it's Givera. If it affects collective human consciousness, then it's Abina. If it cannot be contained, involves humans after their death, as in the afterlife, then it's Terminal. If it's involved with baseline reality, so if it were to be contained, intelligent entities would be affected, then it's Chokma or Sapientia. Irrelevant means the object class doesn't matter, and if it's unknown, then I guess we just don't know the object class. If it's locked in a box but we don't know how, then it's Dembala. If it's only known by eyewitness accounts, then it's Ether. If the box needs to be constantly changed, then it's Gleipner. If in order to lock it in a box, it needs to be separated into multiple anomalous parts, which must remain separated, then it's Marxer. If it's not anomalous, then it's non-anomalous. If it targets the O5 Council, then it's Principalis. And that's all the esoteric object classes. Like I said, there was a bunch of them. Anyways, I just wanted to do this video just because, I mean, one, I just wanted to know the most used object class, but two, I also, like, everyone knows what the most common object classes mean, but sometimes, especially in Noah SCP articles, you'll see like an object class and you, at least will always have to press the footnote and go, okay, what does this actually mean? So hopefully this video helps. It was also just fun to come up with locked box analogies for all the different kinds. It was just a fun little thing I wanted to do. And yeah, it was just interesting. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, see ya.